We recently produced a video detailing the negative effects of Google's near monopoly on the search market on the fields of innovation, technology, and advertising. Google's dominance in the search engine market appears unassailable, what with the company's products being the de facto standard across all major platforms. Google's near-monopoly status is a major factor in the company's rise to prominence, as one of the world's most valuable at a market cap of more than $1 trillion. Outside of China, Google has an 80% market share, making any serious challenge to their dominance of the search engine industry seem impossible, or so it seemed. Welcome back to Financial Fortune. We are here to discuss the connection of ChatGPT has that would affect Google. Just keep on watching.
This is the most sophisticated AI chatbot that we have ever seen released to the general public. And it was developed by OpenAI in San Francisco, and its applications are honestly pretty broad. I've seen the applications range from completely silly, like there's one that went viral about a King James Bible verse about getting a peanut butter sandwich out of a VCR. And, the applications can also get really scary. For instance, someone figured out how to get past some of the content filters and get it to tell you how there's a Molotov cocktail, how to make a Molotov cocktail. So the range of applications are broad, but there are a couple of simple ones. Some people are using it to clean up their code. Other people are using it to help draft cover letters. There's been a lot of applications surrounding college essays. The way it works is essentially you sign on and you type a question, much in the same way you would to something else we're all very familiar with, Google search. So I actually went and tried it out myself because I wanted to test out this idea, because there's a lot of hub being like, well, this is something that, could eventually replace Google. And I think there are a lot of things underlying that, but I asked it a couple questions that you might ask Google. One of them was very benign. It was about French toast. It'll probably show up on the screen here in a second. Here you go. Yeah, I was just like, what's a recipe for French toast? Okay, that's a recipe. And then it shows you how to make French toast. I also asked it a follow-up that gave me excruciating details on how to add chocolate chips in. So I think there are a lot of questions that this poses, but there's no question it has gone completely viral.
A few weeks ago, Microsoft's Bing announced that it would be incorporating OpenAI's technology into a brand new feature called CoPilot. A chatbot, very similar to ChatGPT, will soon be added to Bing CoPilot, allowing you to interact with it in the same natural way that you would with a real person.
Bing with AI is going to completely change what people can expect from search. We're grounded in the fact that, Google dominates this space. I feel like a new race is starting with a complete new platform technology. I'm excited for the users to have choice finally, and a real competitive race out there.
If this takes off, it will pose a serious threat to Google's market share. Users may switch from Google Search to CoPilot if they have a positive enough experience. Google saw the success of ChatGPT and knew they had to respond, so on February 6th, while it was still in beta, they announced their own artificial intelligence AI-powered chatbot called Bard.
Google says it's launching its own artificial intelligence-powered chatbot to rival ChatGPT, which mimics human writing on demand. ChatGPT, which is owned by Microsoft, has taken the tech world by storm since its launch 2 months ago. James Clayton has more from Los Angeles.
ChatGPT set the internet on fire when it launched in November. Its incredibly detailed answers have amazed users. It can pass exams, compose poems, even write code. It's seen as game-changing technology. Now Google has rushed to announce its version of ChatGPT. It's called Bard, and it's based on similar technology. Bard seeks to combine the breadth of the world's knowledge with the power, intelligence and creativity of our large language models, Google's boss Sundar Pichai wrote in a blog. Mr. Pichai stressed he wanted Google's AI services to be bold and responsible, but there was more than a whiff of panic too.
This announcement is the latest salvo in a monumental fight between Google and Microsoft, because make no mistake about it, ChatGPT threatens to undermine Google's entire business model.
That's because ChatGPT's AI could transform search engines, producing far more tailored and relevant results. It's now widely expected that Microsoft's search engine Bing will be incorporated into ChatGPT, and that announcement is expected imminently. And you can see why Google is seriously worried. More than 90% of the world's searches are on Google. The company makes a fortune from that dominance through advertising revenue. In contrast, around 3% of searches are currently on Bing. Microsoft would love a bit of that pie. In Mountain View, home of Google's headquarters, executives are concerned. They hope that Bard will be the answer to ChatGPT. The company has poured money into AI over the past few years. Bard is based around a language model called Lambda, which one Google employee said was so human-like, he believed the system to be sentient. We still don't know how good Bard is or will be, but one thing we do know is that Google is seriously spooked. Just one way, ChatGPT is already disrupting the tech industry.
Nobody at Google is an idiot, least of all the company's top brass. They are aware of how dangerous ChatGPT can be, but the nature of a dilemma means that there is no way out. ARK Invest's chief futurist Brett Winton recently spoke with CNBC and discussed the challenges that Google is currently facing.
Google versus Microsoft, who has it?
I think Google is fundamentally impaired by this transition to AI. It's a classic innovator's dilemma story where they claim they have technology. They could do it if they wanted to, but the transition to AI really imperils both the cost structure of search and their ability to generate revenue off search. Their entire business model is built around taking people and delivering them to the next site. And these AI systems actually deliver answers to the end users. And so search as a way station to the rest of the internet, it's not going to persist as a typical user behavior over the course of this business cycle.
Is this assessment made based almost solely on what Google unveiled last week? Or was this your thinking prior to and going into even that botched launch?
Oh yeah, it's independent of that botched launch. I think people inside Google will say, hey, we have like just as good AI as OpenAI, which is probably true, but their entire business structure revolves around this idea that people go to a site to go to another site to get to their answer. We think that text prompt AI based tools are going to live inside of software. You're no longer going to go outside of Excel to Google search to look for a piece of data. That piece of data is going to be provided to you inside Excel. And so it'll cut Google search out of that entire user flow and extend that to any economic activity that an employee engages in. And so like the stages of grief for kind of Google shareholders is one, first stage, hey, this isn't going to matter. Second stage is, hey, actually, this will make search more costly to perform. Then the third stage is, hey, actually, this is going to impact the number of click-throughs we get from search because it's providing answers. But the fourth stage is, hey, actually, people aren't going to go to search at all. Traffic's going to fall off because the way in which we engage with the material of information on the internet is going to be changed by this.
So we are making the point that there is almost a dollar for dollar transfer of market cap from Alphabet to Microsoft in just the past 1 week. Walk us through, if you will, what Microsoft has that you think is innovative, or maybe what they have isn't, and it just shows that Google's model is fragile and is vulnerable.
Yeah, I think Google's model is fragile, and it doesn't necessarily accrue to Microsoft's benefit. I don't think a head-to-head competition between search engines is actually leading us to the winning strategy. Instead, you can imagine that maybe Google protects search by spending a lot more money on AI inferencing and potentially driving business towards NVIDIA as Microsoft tries to compete with them. It could be that Microsoft's strategy in launching Bing powered by AI is really just a way to collect data to monetize on the back end through their Office franchise and the way in which AI is going to build into the Office franchise. So I don't know that Microsoft is the natural winner here. It's much more clear that there will be a lot of money spent on AI investment, that the picks and shovels that provide for this kind of capability into software will be really well positioned. I think the analogy to the early internet is a good one, where early internet, actually, the winner was not the Amazons and the consumer-facing internet companies that we think of today. It was Cisco, which was providing all of the infrastructure that allowed people to get connected. Well, here, who's providing the infrastructure that allow these AI models to be changed? That's the chip companies, that is companies in the private space like Mosaic ML who are enabling enterprises to build these AI models for themselves. And so it's really interesting, and I think Google's very vulnerable.
Fred, it's Karen. Thanks for being on. I agree with you on the picks and shovels concept, but getting back to the search concept, so it sounds like you must think then that even if Google retains share, or regardless of who gets share, that ultimately it will just be a less profitable business to be in search. What do you think is going to happen to those margins, if I'm right about what I think your theory is?
Yeah, I think the cost to provide a search could massively compress margins. We think that it's roughly a penny and a half of revenue per Google search, and it might cost you a penny to run the AI model if you're running a large language model inference against that Google search. Well, that actually stacked on top of the other infrastructure of providing that search, that might eat all of the operating profit of a search if they're forced to do that. And so just from Google's perspective, going from a highly profitable business to a business that's marginally profitable is a big transformation for that company. And that's not even taking into account the potential revenue impact, the potential impact on traffic to search as a pattern for how people operate in the internet. So I think there's a lot of threat to that business model from here.
When you think about, for Microsoft, the percentage of revenue that comes from search, how committed do you think that they will be to this business that is going to be very costly for them to scale it from 30 million users now in their ChatGPT that's enabled with Bing versus like really going head to head with Google? And that's where this may kind of run out of steam a little bit.
Well, I think Microsoft as an enterprise-facing company actually has an advantaged position here. We think that AI is going to monetize through the enterprise first, and Microsoft could underwrite the search business as basically a loss leader in order to collect the data it needs to improve its AI capability in its Office suite software. As someone who uses Excel all the time, I'm looking forward to having an AI-powered Excel. And that AI-powered Excel is going to be better, and I'm going to pay more for it because of the data that Microsoft gets off of whatever happens with Bing. I don't think they're going to try to run Bing profitably because they have such a profitable Office productivity franchise that will be super powered by AI.
It's too soon to bury Google as the market leader in search, but with the advent of AI chatbots, the search giant's monopoly looks more precarious than ever. Would you be interested in joining Google as a co-pilot in a swanky bar setting? Please share your thoughts in the feedback section. Much appreciation for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.